Hey everyone, it's Debbie back again. I just wanted to share a scrapbook layout that I did of my grandson. I love this photo of him. I don't know if you're going to get a glare, but I really love the photo. And he's about 5 months old here. And I just wanted to share, this page was made basically with stamps, pretty much, with just a few other things thrown in. So I just wanted to share how I did it. I'll tell you the products that I used. I used Memento black ink for the stamping, and the stamps I used Hero Arts long writing background, and I used that here and here. And then I used Faith, Believing the Impossible is Possible, with this little airplane. That's a Studio 112, and it's called the Mini Assortment. And that went here on that. And then I used, this one is a Kaiser craft stamp, and it's called Flutter, and I used that one here. And what I did was I stamped it on the background, and then I stamped it on another piece of white paper and put glossy accents on the butterfly. Well, cut the butterflies out and then put glossy accents on them so that they would be sort of stiff, and then I molded them into the shape I wanted and glued them to the background. So that was that stamp. And then this one is a Kaiser craft called the Arty stamp, A-R-T-Y, and I love this one. And that one is stamped here and here at the top. And I used this Kaiser craft stamp called Perfume, and that one was used in this corner here. And this is a Scrapmatts frame, and I painted it flat black. And then I used the Crafter's Workshop stencil, and this one is called Mini Ledger, and I used that. I mixed some texture paste with red paint, and I used it here and I used it here. And then this stamp set is Stampers Anonymous Tim Holtz collection called Curiosities, and I used the Curiosity definition stamp up here on this part of the layout. You can just barely see it behind this. And then I used this little label stamp up at the top here, and the clock here. I think that's all I used out of, oh, and I used the ruler here. And then I wanted to add a little bit more color to it, and I have some tissue or washi tape, but I find this, I like it, but I find that it tends to come up. It's not real sticky. So I tend to find that I have the edges coming up on that one when I use it. So I decided I had seen a video, and I apologize, I don't remember whose video it was, but I had seen a video on YouTube on making your own tissue tape. And so I had a piece of white tissue paper, and I took some score tape, and I just peeled the back off of one side and then stuck that side down to the tissue paper. And then she actually then peeled the tissue off and stuck it to something and did all of her embellishing to it, and then tried to stick it back onto the backing to store it. And I knew I was going to have trouble doing that, so I just laid it to my craft mat, my non-stick craft mat, and I just put a tiny piece of tape on each end, and I did all my distressing and stamping and everything so that it stayed on the backing paper. But I used Tim Holtz distress inks and my my little distressing tool, and I distressed the backgrounds first, and then I stamped with Memento ink or my StazOn ink. And so there was the blue one. Here's another blue one. And this one was that fired brick with the black ink on it. And then another one, this one was the Memento brown. And I used Vintage Photo. Same with that one. And then this one, this was the only other different ink that I used, and I did have a bit of trouble with it. I used a chalk ink, a white chalk ink. I think it was Color Box, on top of the fired brick, and I did have some trouble with the white. I'm not sure that's my favorite white ink, but it's the only one I had. But it's still pretty. It turned out sort of distressed looking. Same with that. I used white on that one. Then this one, I used my ruler stamp on that. This one was just fired brick directly onto the white tissue. That one was broken china, I think, directly onto the white tissue. And that one was broken china that was distressed on the tissue, and then I came back in with the white. That one's real pretty. And this one came back in with black StazOn, and that one was just black StazOn on the white tissue paper. So I think those turned out really well. And they of course stick really well. And the reason I made those is because I wanted a touch of blue on here, and so I just made my own tissue tape, and this I printed in blue, and on the little label also blue ink. And there's my little butterflies with the glossy accents on them. And then there's a piece of tissue tape here, which is the white background. And this was a little Davis coaster, chipboard coaster, and I'd had that for a very long time, and that's actually what I wanted to do, something with the coaster. So I took the color from that and I stuck with the black, red, and blue. Well, the blue I drew in from the photo, but it was a very simple layout to do, and I thought it turned out really well, and I just wanted to share it with you. Thanks for watching. Bye.